Hey all, and welcome to another edition of Smart Talk. We are so excited to be with you here again today. Today, guys, is our 10th episode.
What?
Woo!
What?
10 episodes.
Am I doing it right? Let's see. Yes, there we go. Is that right?
10.
Anyway, yes.
There we
10.
go.
Yes.
So celebrate with us. We're so excited. So excited. And you all know us by now, but we've got the incredible Mark Hayes, former Fox News anchor, two-time nominated Emmy. And we have Melissa Carter from top radio show host here in Atlanta. She is the voice of Atlanta, I love to call her. And the podcaster for She Persisted. So very exciting. And then there's me.
Okay. So Mark and we'll pass off to each other. I will start. Let's start roasting Aurea. No, I'm just kidding. Aurea is an Emmy award-winning television host and a philanthropist in town. And I mean, somebody I've admired for 15 years because Aurea, your book, I Will Not Survive, I'll Thrive. I just moved and I was unpacking my books. And so I was putting that on the shelf and I checked the date because I'm like, how long have I known Aurea? And it's been about 15, 16 years. So
Wow.
I have been an admirer of hers for a very long time. So
we were friends from day one.
Yeah.
We just clicked on that stage. She was talking kidney transplant, Melissa. God bless you. And I was talking about surviving domestic violence at the time.
That's right.
From my book was about that and being cancer survivor. So we instantly clicked, and we've been on stages together ever since.
I still have your book. She autographed my book. It's on my shelf, so I feel like you're
gonna autograph your book sometime soon.
Yes.
Keep telling me that. I know someday
Melissa,
I'll write a book. I know they keep telling me that.
We want to know all the secrets.
Oh, you're such a great writer, too. I really encourage everybody to listen to her podcast, She Persisted, because Melissa, when you really let her loose, this isn't even half of her loose. Really good content, Melissa. You really have
take that soapbox and yes. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I mean, and Mark is just, I mean, you talk about, and you look, we're friends here. I mean, like we love doing this together. And Mark, it's a pleasure because I didn't know Mark personally before this. But I've watched him for years, so this is just a pleasure to be with him.
Love being a matchmaker.
It's crazy because, we knew what you guys were doing all the time, and Bert was always so nice when he came to the show, when he came to Good Day Atlanta. And we were relieved, right? Because you guys were so successful. And we were like, oh, thank God he's a nice guy. Like Sujeeta said that, oh, thank God Bert's such a nice guy. And, and you just like to know that the people that you really admire are really nice people too.
That's always good.
And then you're genuinely happy that they're successful.
Right.
That's because I've done my fair share of movie junkets and met big stars that were not so nice.
Oh yeah.
And it's frustrating too, because then you got to come home, you got to find a Jerry Maguire movie and throw it away because one of the characters in there pissed you off.
Oh my.
As an example.
Oh, did I say a name?
Not that we're naming names or anything. Yeah, you meet them all the time.
Short guy.
Oh my gosh. I too, Mark, I love meeting people that are really nice in person too. It makes my heart so good. We've met so many people that aren't, but it's nice to have this really good one.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. That is absolutely correct. Yes, for yourself.
Yay. So we bring all of this to your table, and we were just saying, I know I was, that these moments, these Wednesdays with all of you is one of our highlights here in quarantine. And we just love it. Good things are coming from quarantine. And we're going to be talking about that because there's a lot of things to be concerned about, a lot of things to take seriously. But on the other side, we have to have self-care, and you have to do things that you enjoy and are fun to you. And I don't care if that's, planting a garden, doing yoga, playing with animals outside, seeing friends virtually, but you have to have something like that's in your life that truly brings you joy. And for me, I know we were talking about this show brings me joy. I look so forward to it.
Well, I mean, and then we're living what she said, because we're media personalities who, what do we do during quarantine to bide our time and to spend time together? Is do a show. So this is natural for us to do, is to start a show. So whatever.
And some people, and everybody's going to look back at 2020 and say, wow, 2020, that was something. Now, are you going to look back and say it was a hell of a year? Or are you going to look back and say, oh,
it was a hell of a year.
I crawled up in the corner and it was a hell of a year.
You can come out better or bitter. And so you have this chance now to come out better. Somehow
That's right.
Find something that does bring you joy.
Who's
and
better? Choose better.
Yes,
Choose
be
better.
better. I heard
Agreed.
somebody, I think I was watching the Today Show, and I think one of them said something really neat that I thought was good. It's like, you don't have to come out of this Martha Stewart or, rock solid abs and fix everything. You just have to make it through. Whatever that means, you're successful. You make it through, and we live through this, and we come out, in one piece. That's good. That's great.
You just made me think of something, Aurea. So, usually when you're doing career talk, and a lot of our viewers are people who are pivoting their careers or thinking about pivoting their careers, and there's always that advice to look at your childhood and what was it in your childhood you loved to do. I know for me, it was play radio, so that was funny that I took my career doing it. But I think that this is an opportunity for you to kind of do the same thing. What is it during the quarantine that you've gone to that makes you happy?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a real sign, like if baking is what's made you happy, if it's gardening, like you said, if it's spending time with friends, or, whatever that thing is to get your mind off of the news, may be a clue into what you need to be doing the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. For sure.
Yeah, I wanted to be a marine biologist growing up, so I'm not doing a lot of swimming lately.
You need a fish tank. You need a fish tank, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. I have watched a lot of documentaries. On the ocean and the climate, and climate's such a big deal.
Thank God for like all those channels.
Mark
now.
Hayes documentaries.
That's a thing.
But even Mark, just watching them, you don't have to go out and just watch them. Watch things you love. I love TV, but I love it for that too. So you may not be even baking, but watching baking shows could give you joy. Just so when you don't have to bake every day. Although well,
what I'm saying is, if you're pivoting in your career, everybody's got something, but I think that if you're really wondering what makes me happy, like everybody has that question, even if we weren't in the middle of quarantine, but it's now we're in the thick of it. You have a really clear path to find that answer.
You do.
I think.
Yeah.
And I've always told my clients, this is just great advice I just love to give them because it makes such sense, is go back to the time when you were a little kid and people come up to you and say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you knew it. Astronaut, marine biologist, you love radio, whatever. I wanted to be, I wanted to be an actress. I want to be a rich and famous actress. It was in there from the beginning. And along your life, dreams get taken away. People say you can't, or you're too this, you're too that. So a lot of people get their dreams taken away, but there's a way to do it. I created my own space, and now with our internet, y'all can create your own space, whatever you do. There's YouTube shows on everything from hunting to putting together toys like we were talking about to anything. Right. So I think you can come out of this bitter or better.
Or better. And Mark, I'm sorry to interrupt, just letting you know that my dog was inspired just then to go bark at somebody. So
my dogs usually are.
If you hear any noises, my dog is finding her voice. So
what kind of dog?
I closed my door. My dog's inspiration to stay upstairs.
My dog is 14, 15 years old. She's an old lady. She was asleep on the couch. She can't see and she can't hear too well, so I'm not exactly sure what she heard. But she is a mix. She's a golden terrier mix.
I love it. So, Mark, what do you have?
I have a terrier mix, and we have a lab pit mix.
Ooh, nice.
Just adorable and scared of his own shadow. He's got this square, boxy head, and he's a pitch black with a little white patch in the front. He's the cutest little thing you ever seen. But man, he's so scary. You slam the door and this guy runs for cover. It's like, geez, I'm gonna have to buy a weapon around here because you sure aren't one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well,
you've got several.
I love them. You heard my dogs on the last show.
Yeah.
And you have 2. I have 3. And I have a Great Pyrenees who you heard very loud and clear on episode 9 on the Halloween show. And that was Bo, my big Great White Pyrenees, who protects me from the wind blowing. And then I have English Golden Cream, our little princess, who chews up everything. So retainers and all. And then we have our mixed lab rescue. That's an Australian Shepherd Golden Retriever, but he's black.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Beautiful. And then I have a cat and 2 sugar gliders. And 2 days ago, I just bought my daughter a python.
2 sugar gliders.
Are those?
What are
They're little marsupials. They're not rodents. And the little female has a little pouch. So, and they kind of fly like a flying squirrel, but they're little. I'll bring them on the show one day.
Are they legal?
Yes, became legal a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't used to be. Georgia doesn't like.
Got them in a cage, like bird cage. What are they in?
Oh, I have them in they have 2 big cages, and they can go back and forth. Oh, they've got a condo. I think they do.
Sugar gliders.
Sugar glider. I love
Right,
them.
ladies
And you
and
have to have
gentlemen,
two.
learn
I thought that was Mark's nickname in college.
Sugar glider. Here he comes.
The smooth voice.
What's up, sugar glider? Sorry. Now, so here,
takes a turn.
now look, this is real. We're real, right? Authentic. So y'all keep talking because I got to help my 15-year-old back on the couch because she, because she went to get whatever it was, and she can't make it back on the couch.
Things.
I know, right?
See, I know the feeling though.
She won't use it.
I had a chocolate lab that made it to 16.
Oh, my Golden's made it to 15.
Yeah, when he was 14, 15, I'd take him into the vet. They'd be like, oh, we got a 16-year-old chocolate lab here. Come take a look at this. Like he was a great white elephant or something.
Aw.
I'm like, come on, my dog is not a peep show here, folks. All right?
Lord.
He's not going to be peeking in here to take a look at my doggie.
Oh,
all
Lord.
right?
Well, you guys were saying, what brings you joy? Animals bring me joy. I'm feeding my chipmunks out my door here where Angel scared me last week. But I have chipmunk feeder, I have my bird feeder, my squirrel feeder. And then
You're Snow White.
I am. I love it.
You are Snow White.
Dr. Dolittle. But did you know that, a dog saved my life twice when I was little. German Shepherd saved my life twice. I love dogs. And dog, I don't think it's a coincidence, is God spelled backwards. Because what other animal does everything for humans that a dog does? From sniffing out diseases, from being your best friend, from rescuing, they're cops. Yeah. What other animal is a cop?
Right.
Exactly.
So they're just such the perfect animal. You can have any size, any shape, any color that you want. I just think they're wonderful.
And my dog is a hero because, I admire her because she is also epileptic. So she suffered from a debilitating problem her whole rescue life.
Husky like that.
And so now that she can't see her hair very well, like I'll go upstairs and she didn't see me go upstairs, but she knows I'm not in the room. So she'll be barking like at the basement door, or she'll be barking or she'll be looking. I'll find her just as, obedient and is ready to go, but she's in the wrong place because she can't see me. So there's it's still in her.
Isn't it awesome that they're as needy as we are? They need us just as much as we need them.
Yeah. I've got 3 cats. They could care less. They don't.
Oh, my cat's a lap cat. Oh my God.
We don't do
cats. Always
cats.
On me.
Yeah, we don't do cats.
The point of that, we got off on our pets and stuff, but yes, if you love pets, enjoy your pets right now because they sure are enjoying you being home. So that's another good thing about just enjoy pets. If you don't have enough, go out and rescue some more. There's lots of rescue animals that need your home.
I rescued 2 cats during the quarantine. So 2 of my 3 are new hellions in my house.
New hellions.
It's good.
I love it. Whatever makes you happy.
I caught some cats at my mom's house one time. I couldn't get rid of them fast enough. I started calling everybody I knew who wants these cats. Okay, because they got to go.
You can always call me.
They don't listen. You tell a cat to sit. He looks at you. You tell him run. He looks at you. Tell him fetch. He looks at. All they do is look at you.
They're cuddlers. Mine
cuddles. They look
he
at you like
right
they look at you like they're going to pee in your Cheerios.
There is no other animal except maybe snakes where people are either yes or no.
Yes
like there's no middle ground with cats. Like you were either a cat person or you're not a cat person.
Or you're not. Yeah.
I think you just missed something that I said.
Oh yeah.
There's no rules for me right now in quarantine. Whatever it takes right now. I am such more of an open mom to things I would normally say no to because I have a homeschool. You know how guilty I feel about that. It's because of me and she can't go to school and all that. So you tend to make some wider choices. Say,
it's not because of you.
I know.
It's because
of not because of you.
I struggle with that.
COVID-19.
Yes, I still struggle with it. Knowing that, my gosh, 10th year in high school and no friends, and we're going to talk about some people that are all out there. So sometimes it seems like, are we alone? We're going to talk about that in a minute, so don't go away. But so, she's in a room and she wants to take care of something. She wants a living creature that's her own, and she wanted a snake. And I love snakes. I just can't feed them because I'm all about it's hard. I can't feed them live. But I used to work in a pet store. So yesterday 2 days ago, I bought her a sweet little ball python, and he's beautiful and he's in his own tank and she loves him. And it's just, I have nothing against it. She's totally going to be in charge of it. She's going to feed him with little fur ball, little frozen mice. That was the only thing I didn't like about it, but couldn't be any sweeter. So I was open to that when normally I've never been open to a snake, not because I don't like
I'm only laughing because I'm looking at Mark's facial expressions because I'm the same.
Yeah, he's sweet. He's sweet and little now.
That's I don't mind a big. You know,
Only
in
in
my
6
Emmy-winning
months.
show, I'm holding 150 pound
She brought out
python.
Emmy. She brought out Emmy.
I did. I brought out Emmy.
Girl, that means you shut
There's
up.
not an animal I don't want. So you know,
No, but there's something to learn from because
if it makes her
I never
happy
had a
right now,
snake.
give her
I've
responsibility.
never had a
I'm all
snake.
for it. You know,
What's the
so,
snake's name?
we haven't
Monty?
figured it out yet. She's just calling him Snaky right now.
Snaky.
He or she's only like 4 months old. But again, I don't be so rigid during this time. If you got to break some rules or do things you never thought you'd do, it's okay. It's just whatever makes you all happy right now. And I've kind of given into, like, I'm already starting to decorate for Christmas without anybody being able to see it, so I don't get all the neighbors. But if it makes me happy to put on a Christmas movie now, even before Halloween, and start getting out my Christmas stuff, that's my joy. You know, why not?
Yeah, usually I have a hard stance on that, but I will say if you keep it inside, if you keep it inside, then because I'm all about the chronological order of the holidays. But this is different. This year's different, and so you got to do whatever makes you
happy.
What is your favorite Christmas movie, guys? Mine is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, Elf! I love Elf and Christmas with the Cranks.
Elf is great.
Well, and Hallmark, anything Hallmark.
Charlie Brown Christmas, that soundtrack. The Elf soundtrack and the Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack are the perfect thing to play over and over again in your house.
Yeah,
for sure. Those are the best. As for movie, I love Christmas Vacation.
Everybody, yes.
Yeah,
the Griswolds.
Yeah, it's a classic.
The point is to watch them, and they're in my house. I drive my husband crazy. Hallmark Channel is on from November 1st until after Christmas.
All right, so we'll talk about that when
it's in my kitchen, so I cook to it all the time.
Araya will talk about Christmas, and that's okay because we love you for it.
Makes me happy.
Just real quick, Yukon Cornelius is the man in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I just love Yukon. I mean, he is the man. Like I would hang
underrated.
out. He's
underrated.
Definitely. He doesn't get any love.
He doesn't get any love. No.
Like if I had an alias on Twitter, it would be Yukon Cornelius.
Oh, that's great. With a little pickaxe.
Right.
Gosh, I'll get you guys watching Christmas movies November 1st yet.
Don't forget Home Alone too. Home Alone's another.
Home Alone. Home Alone 2 is my favorite.
Well, so New York. And I'll transition this, but I do have a movie club, which I've talked before. We started this in March, and it wasn't even my idea. It was another friend's idea, and I ran with it. And we all have, there's probably 6 of us that meet every week, and we go around robin to pick movies. And anyway, so we were talking about the holidays and how, who was going to be in the role, the roll call at the time of the holidays. And so either I or somebody else made the comment about Home Alone, maybe we picked that as our holiday movie, and 3/4 of the group had not seen Home Alone.
No.
So, yes, there is a huge contingency of people that have not seen Home Alone.
You need to do a double feature.
So that might. So we'll talk about that. We get
as we approach holidays,
we can talk about.
Were there issues in the home? I mean, what happened?
So that's the thing. There's some people that avoid. They avoid some of these movies that become so popular so fast, I think. And so come holiday season, we can do a show.
Yes.
On a must see and read or hear or everything Christmas.
Viewers, put it in the comments. What's your favorite shows? Is there any that you don't like? What do you have to see?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that at Christmas.
I know. I won't bring in Christmas too soon.
And it's October.
It's October. So anyway, let's keep talking. But the point of the movie club is the fact that is what I started, and that is one of those other anchors that has gotten me through the pandemic because it's kept me on a schedule, and because I'm one of those that got laid off. So I'm somebody that does not have my job to keep me on schedule. My son's remote learning keeps me on schedule. This show keeps me on schedule, and my movie club helps. And I'm telling you, if I didn't have these things to keep me in a rhythm, then my mental health would be far worse than it is right now.
Absolutely. Melissa, do you use Teleparty on Netflix for the watch parties?
Mm-mm.
What do you use?
Because we don't watch them at the same time. So we meet.
We
watch on our own schedule.
You could use Teleparty then. You can all watch together.
That's coordinating too many schedules.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's sweet, but that's where you lose people, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
And tell her when to watch it.
So it's, it's just a case where, it's easy for everybody, and it's one time a week, and they come in and we talk for an hour or two about the movies, and then we get excited about our next pick. And so and it's lasted we didn't know how long it would last, and here we are in October still doing it.
That's awesome. Well, good. Well, I hope the viewers find fun things to do, and we'll talk about it in episodes to come. They seem to just keep coming up, so that's fine, because we're going to look back at these shows, say, look what we learned, look what we did, look what we were doing. So all learning process, but trying to stay positive through the whole thing.
Well, but we're still but we are living our lives as if we're still in a pandemic, where so much of our society is not living as if they're still in a pandemic.
Which brings me to where I was going to start, but we got on to dogs and Christmas. Don't ask me how, but again, we tell you, you never know what you'll get with Smart Talk. And that's the beauty of it. Surprise. So we were going to start with something, so I'm just going to get right into it, because I'm actually going to flip something, and Mark, Melissa, you didn't know that I'm going to do this. I'm going to surprise you, but I'm going to start the show, even though we've already into it a few minutes here now, with my not so smart. And I want your input on this, because it's serious, but it's definitely a not so smart. Okay. So my not so smart section is going to start the conversation with us right now. And my daughter Angelica sent this to me. And it just happened. A Ukrainian fitness influencer dies of COVID after denying it existed. And it says he has 1.1 million followers on Instagram, and he died of coronavirus, since this was just this week, after previously doubting of the existence of the deadly bug, according to the reports. And
so how old was he?
33 years old, huge bodybuilder, perfect shape, it looked like, fitness instructor, influencer of others, was denying to all his fans and to himself that the COVID even existed. And now he died this week of coronavirus.
So that means his gym, wherever he was, there was no mask. That means he lived his lifestyle with no precautions. So, I mean, and he was a 33. Yeah. Well, I don't think that matters. I think most 33-year-old men and women and younger than that think they're invincible and aren't wearing their mask, and they're going to restaurants and not taking precautions and not sitting 6 feet from each other. I have seen more group photos on Facebook in the past month or two than I've seen through the whole pandemic. And it's just people with their arms hanging around each other and their faces right next to each other. And it's like, what are you thinking?
Well, think about this too. In the Ukraine, they had 320,000 cases, and 6,000 people have died there.
And they're still not believing it. What is there not to believe?
You're trying to say it doesn't exist. And here's the thing, of those people that have recovered, right, and were fortunate enough to get through this, we still don't know the long-term health effects, right? We're starting to hear from people like Chris Cuomo, who nightly gives you an update on what he's dealing with, that long haul syndrome, the wheezing, the shortness of breath, the fatigue,
heart damage,
lung damage, heart damage. We don't know.
It's so
where it's going, and we don't know if you're going to relapse, or if you get it again, will it be worse?
Exactly.
So we're not so smart as to think it's not here. So however people deal with it, just don't be not so smart and not know it's here.
Well, I think a couple things. One of the other pieces of information I don't think that gets talked about enough is if you do recover from it and you have lung tissue damage and heart tissue damage, that's a pre-existing condition from this point forward. Just letting you know.
And you're going to need some sort of health care.
And you're going to need help, and health insurance is going to be an issue for you if you're switching jobs or got laid off. So just know that there are, even if it doesn't kill you, which I think is the reason a lot of people are arrogant about it, there are still effects to it. The First Lady is still suffering from it.
Yeah, and cancel that event.
Exactly. And the other thing I think is that we're not seeing the suffering, and not that we want to see suffering, but I feel like out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. And we are not seeing on a nightly basis the images of the people and the struggles, and of course we can't because of heaven, because people don't want that to happen. Numbers aren't enough. Numbers are not enough.
You can go on YouTube. I did that last night, and I saw this woman who documented her struggle. She was one of the caretakers, one of the nurses, and she died kind of like on YouTube. Didn't die on YouTube, but like 2 hours later, and she went from sick to in the hospital and dead within a week. And they allowed her 2 kids to come in to hug her, and she died 2 hours later, and she was one of the nurses, I believe. So there are some people documenting, but very few.
But you have to search for that, is what I'm saying.
You have to search for that. And my friend's got it right now too.
I will never forget the image of the the 18-wheelers lining up outside the hospital in New York City, because so many people were dying so quickly. Many of those people were receiving indigent care their families didn't have money to bury them, so they were stacking the bodies
Oh God.
in these refrigerated tractor trailers. I mean, it's horrifying. And then you saw the mass graves. I'll never forget the video of the mass graves that we saw in other countries. And I mean, I don't understand how you get 220 something thousand now families to say, oh yeah, we're part of the whole. It can't be a whole, when you've got a city the size bigger than Des Moines, Iowa. If we woke up tomorrow and Des Moines, Iowa was gone, we would be flabbergasted.
Right.
So why aren't we now?
Because I don't think we understand. I mean, it's the third largest cause of death in the United States now. The third largest cause of death today
What's the top 2?
in the United States. Of course, I don't have that chart in front of me.
Oh, that's all right.
Might be
Heart disease
and suicide, maybe. I don't know.
But it's on the list of the largest causing deaths in the United States. I mean,
people don't take
but
it
people
seriously.
but people don't think they're going to die from it, and to a lot of people, that's enough, and especially young people, because this has been branded incorrectly from the start.
Yes, it only takes out the weak and the old.
My issue with this is they did not communicate this as a communicator. They did not communicate this correctly from the start, and I think it is evident to show our opinions of the elderly in this country. We don't care about them. They are something that we would rather shove away. And so if you tell people, well, you're helping your grandma, your grandpa, you're helping the elderly, most people don't care, because we glorify the youth in this country. And so
we're never going to be old.
What a great point, Melissa. It really does show the lack of, and China is totally different, in those other countries that the older you are, the wiser you are, and the more revered you are. In America, it's the opposite. It's like next,
Well, my mother, so she passed. She did not pass of COVID this year, but she was 91 when she passed. But she had pneumonia back when she lived in Atlanta with me when my son was born. And she got pneumonia. She had to be in the hospital. And her treatment, she survived it, and they took good physical care of her.
Okay.
But the way that they treated her was evident of ageism. So one of the things that happened was she was sent to a rehab facility. So if you were older, another thing that happens is if you have something happen to you like pneumonia or whatever, you're more susceptible to falling, because to get out of bed and be in bed for that long, you don't have your balance.
So weak. Yeah.
So you go to rehab. You have to go to rehab for a little bit in order because they don't want you to fall, because falling is a deadly thing for elderly.
Right.
So my mother sent to rehab, and they put her in Alzheimer's ward. My mother did not have Alzheimer's. She was full mental capacity. And I had to fight. It wasn't just a request. I had to fight to get her off that ward. And they simply put her there because she's old. They just put her with all the old people. And she wasn't getting the care. She didn't have a clock. They wouldn't, because with Alzheimer's patients, they had to, for safety reasons, they had to take a lot of things out of their room. Yeah. But it's just, she was stunned from her perspective of, I'm the same person I've always been, but this is different because I'm old. And so hearing her stories infuriated me, obviously, but it also you have to remember that there's going to be a point in your life where your children look at you differently, doctors look at you differently, society look at you differently, Uber drivers will look at you differently, the bank will look at you differently because you're old. And so the pandemic that makes me so angry is the fact that that's what is happening. These people are arrogant because they don't care about old people, and they consider themselves above it. And like Mark said, that they're not going to die.
And people have said as much. If we have to sacrifice a couple of grandparents, well,
that's correct.
For the good of our economy, that's okay.
Yes.
I would give anything to spend another 30 minutes with my grandparents.
Oh, me too.
They were my favorite people. Yeah, it's an amazing point.
We need to look at the way we treat our older citizens in this country, because we are the next older citizens in this country.
Right.
Yeah. I'm heading towards 60. I'm now doing this journey to 60 and really realizing, wow, 65, so-called retirement age, it's only 5 years after that. And it's like, you start thinking about yourself differently. I still feel like I'm a 16-year-old, or in my 20s, but people start, it's just not the same.
It'll be a lot different when you're 80.
I know.
is,
I know.
and that won't change. The way you feel about yourself doesn't change. My mother, and up until she died, she's like, it's when I wake up, I feel like I'm 16.
Right.
When I get up is when I realize I'm 90.
Right.
Because her body's not the same. But when she wakes up, her soul feels like it's still young. And so it's horrific the way this has been handled.
So since we're all about solutions and giving people some hope on this, what do y'all think we can do, like realistically right now, to give people hope, since the message was so improper from the beginning? Like, this is not just an old person or a weak person or pre-existing condition person. This virus is going to just kill those people. It can kill the young, the healthy, the anyone. We don't want to be a panic society, but we do need to let people know that to take it seriously. What can we do to help our community or help our friends, or even help, like Mark was saying, our ecosystem? Because if we help maybe just 10 other people or 100 other people take it seriously and be safe, do something smart, what would those steps be, either for us to help them know or for them to do?
You know, I think it starts in the home. I think it starts with having conversations with young people about why you need to be responsible. You know, sometimes there's a bigger calling than just ourselves, you know, and I think that this last few years has really illustrated the fact that, you know, we have to be living in a more selfless fashion as opposed to selfish, because our neighbors are counting on us to wear the mask, not to protect ourselves, but to protect each other. It's not about just you. It's about not spread. That's why the other countries are having such success. I mean, we're number one.
God, that's sad.
In the worst COVID risk, the most industrialized nation on the globe, in the
People
universe.
send their kids to our country for education.
Education, right? And this is how we're responding.
And this is how we respond.
Wow.
To the worst pandemic since since 1917, 1918.
Spanish flu.
Yep.
We've never seen anything like this in our lifetimes.
No.
Right.
And now we think the people that actually have the answer, you know, they said it would take us 3 weeks. 3 weeks to get this thing under control.
Oh my God.
3 weeks.
That's
My son has already lost his job for the season, or the pro hockey team won't be playing, right? And he's got a place to go. He's got a place to live, right? He's fine, okay? He can find another gig. But these families, I follow that, and I don't know if it's morbid, or I don't know if I'm just, you know,
you have a nice balance.
So sad.
You're aware, but you're not pondering.
Exactly. Yeah. But I follow that Faces of COVID Twitter account. And when you see these stories, you know, Deadline White House at the end of their show every night, they sign off with a couple of great stories. You know, we never do that in the TV news business, where people have died and we just, you know, pay homage and say some nice things
unless
about
it's a celebrity.
Some kind words.
Unless
it's a celebrity. Exactly. But these are everyday people. These are our neighbors. These are our brothers, our sisters, our aunts and uncles. These are people we really care about. And, and like you said, Aurea, should be revered in our society. Right? They are the golden, in their golden years.
Repeat that, feed, because I think that if I lost my life after living my life, because that's the other thing that bothers me about this, is that this clump of numbers that we give out. These are people who lived their lives, had dreams, had ambitions, did all these things, people you've met in the grocery store, at school, whatever, and their lives should be honored. So what is that feed again? Faces of COVID?
Faces of COVID, yeah, on Twitter.
I'll put the link in. I'm gonna
put the link in.
We follow that and share it and
honor those people.
That.
Honor those people who died because other people were dumb.
Right.
Which brings
that's why they died.
Yeah, not so smart for darn sure. And we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, the three of us, about we want to do a memorial show. So look for that later on this year about the people in our community. So if you're watching the show and you have known somebody who has lost their life to COVID, please let us know. Put in the comments. We want to know about our community and who we've lost. Our mothers, our fathers, our kids, whoever, the real people. Put names to them.
I have a frat brother that we lost a few months ago, and you know, and I was talking to his. We had all gone to Dallas last year in December to watch the Dallas and Cowboys and the Rams play. They were all Cowboy fans. I was not, but I went along for the fraternal bond. But the
being
Morel
selfless,
brothers,
being selfless,
right?
Yes.
But the Morel brothers were on the trip with us, and I was talking to Robert after his brother passed, and he said, "Mark, when I went up on that ward, and we said goodbye to my brother. He said, I saw so much suffering. It was like nothing he had ever seen before. And we were getting updates. He was texting us, and at one point, you know, things were looking good. He was getting better. He had been in the hospital for a few weeks. And then all of a sudden he just took a turn for the worse. And
that's
never
the scary
recovered.
part.
Yes.
I've heard that a lot. You feel like you're getting better, then you get a second wave,
It's
and
not
then
the
you pass
flu.
away.
It's
Right.
not the flu.
No, this is nothing to play with.
It's nothing like the flu. So
No.
That's what this beginning guy said in this article for the Ukrainian guy. He said, COVID, this is in bold letters, all caps, COVID-19 is not a short-lived disease, and it is heavy.
Yeah.
So we don't want to scare anybody, but we do. You know, it's like,
Yes,
it is
no.
real. We're in this.
They need to be scared.
And, you know, we are, you all know that me and my daughter, we are Christmas elves, and we don't love holidays as more than anybody, and as much as all the holiday people, but we are still in quarantine, and we are still just our family, and what we normally do with other people is not happening. We're not going to find a way around it, because we want to be alive for next Christmas and the Christmas after that. So there's time to be, you know, fun and not see the bad in the world. There's other times to see what's happening and be selfless, like you said, Mark.
This is Mother Nature. This is Mother Nature. This is not a political thing. This is not a bunch of liberals trying to tell conservatives what to do. This is Mother Nature, who will always win, by the way.
Every time.
Every single time. Undefeated, exactly. Mother Nature's record is undefeated. And so, I mean, you should be scared. And so, like for me, I have a 6-year-old son. We're not trick-or-treating.
We were talking about that,
I'm not apologizing. I'm not explaining myself. I don't feel the need to, because I understand what's going on, because I listen to the scientists. I understand the veracity of this. I'm not trick-or-treating. His life is going to be fine. His life is not going to be ruined because he didn't go trick-or-treating at 6 years old. His life is not going to be ruined because he's sitting at home learning kindergarten. His life, because he's alive.
Right.
That's why his life's not going to be ruined, is because he's alive.
And you know, my daughter goes to, did go, not right now, but to Christian school. And the whole premise in our faith is you just have faith, it'll be okay. But God also says, don't tempt me. Don't walk out in front of a moving vehicle. Don't jump off a building. Treat your body good. Take vitamins. This is the temple. So we're to treat it really good and take care of it. So when this happens, this is the time to say, well, I don't have to worry about it because I have faith. I believe in miracles. I am a walking miracle. I shouldn't be talking. God healed my voice. But it wasn't something I jumped in front of to get. It happened to be no fault of my own. But how many miracles do you get in a lifetime? But you can't be stupid, because God says you go be stupid and you're going to get, it's the law of the land. Like you said, it's Mother Nature. The law of the land, if you jump off a building, you go splat. So you go walking around without a mask, you're just leaving yourself open. And then don't go crying saying, you know, oh, well, you know, we'd always pray for you, of course, but don't tempt. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I don't like, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm filling up, by the way, on my my supplements and my vitamins. You know, I got my black seed oil. I got my I got my bladderwrack, my
We're not
sea
even
moss.
talking about that. Good point, Mark.
Yeah, and my elderberry, because we're supposed to have a bad flu season on top of what's already going on.
Yeah.
So
you always be ready for battle.
Yes.
I got my flu shot. I actually ventured out to go get my flu shot with my mask on.
Got to. You got to. And you know, the more we take care of each other and ourselves, the sooner we can put events back on the schedule. I mean, I don't even know if Christmas is happening. I told my wife, I said, I'm not shopping for anything until I get confirmation that it's actually happening.
Right.
Okay?
And have it
until
in
I
your
get that
family,
email
Mark.
from an elf, you know.
Mark, you don't get out of buying Christmas presents this year. I'm going to speak for your wife.
That's what it's really about.
Sorry. You're celebrating Christmas. They're getting the presents, and you just don't have to have anybody else at home.
Yeah. Am I that transparent? You guys could see right through that?
I do.
That's very nice.
You ain't getting out of that. You don't give birthday presents to your brother.
Oh, she didn't forget about that.
Celebration, gifts of the heart. I'm a gift giver. Absolutely. No, you don't get out of Christmas. You get out of celebrating with other people. And you can always mail them presents.
Yeah, I think, but going back to what you said about the bodybuilder too, is the other thing that I think we have to check ourselves. What I don't like about what's happening, and we have to check ourselves on, is if somebody gets COVID that has been irresponsible like him, I don't want to be that person who is so filled with resentment that I say, well, karma, so sorry.
Yeah, no.
I want to still care about it. It's hard. it's hard right now to still care about people who have been irresponsible for so long.
Right.
But that's the point, is we're supposed to care about each other.
Absolutely.
So, but the other thing I don't like about what's happening is we're disregarding that clump number. So like you said, well, it's not just happening to the elderly and those with pre-existing conditions. Well, we really have to take a hard look at this country on why we're so arrogant to think that strength is being a bully, and that people who have pre-existing conditions and are elderly are weak and we shouldn't even consider them, because we're clumping people together. So, you know, that's the thing. We for some reason, I think it's bringing out our fear of mortality. And I think a lot of people who are being irresponsible are afraid of death. Right. And they want to pump themselves up, and I'm young and I'm strong and I don't have a pre-existing and I'm healthy. And that's irresponsible. And it's also an illusion. That's such an illusion. That's not how you need to treat yourself for life.
Exactly.
And so weakness having a disease does not make you weak.
Right.
And being in a healthy body does not make you better than somebody else. And that's what I don't like about this.
Yeah, we all agree that the reason we bring these up, and even just say like it's not so smart, because if we can save others, because we're pointing out things not to do. And I've always done that. Like, don't do this. You need to see that it's real. So we have compassion for everyone. We want to say this was in the news. Just point it out that it really is here. What's the sacrifice of another 6 months in a mask? You know, my doctor said we're going to be in a mask another, year or two before it all starts getting the vaccines. And it's not an overnight success. So what we like to do, I know I like to do, is just point out what is happening, because I am a news junkie. I do love watching this because I like to stay up on what's happening, and then I don't ponder on it, but I like to know what's happening today. Like people used to wake up and read the newspaper before they started their day. I like to wake up to make sure just nothing has fallen down, because the last morning I didn't watch the news, the trade towers came down. So it's kind of like, I just want to just take a quick peek, make sure there's no, news alert or special report. Then I turn it off and I know, okay, the cure isn't here today, but here's what we're doing. And I also kind of looked for the cure too. Okay, I want them to say it's over, everybody go out and play.
It's coming. The cure's coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it'll be here soon. But think about this. The medical team at the White House is second to none. They've got access to the best equipment and people anywhere on the globe. And Melania still has a lingering cough. So what is that? That tells you whether the president have 14 doctors. Okay, so maybe Melania has 7.
Right, still the best.
And she's still in the White House, which has, all the facilities of a hospital, for all practical purposes. So the fact that she has not gotten over it immediately, just because the president made this,
and she's not old. And
she's not old, and she's in great shape.
Yeah. She's in great. She doesn't have a pre-existing condition.
Right.
But here she is suffering. Here she is.
That's the scary part. We don't know how it's going to react in each and every body. It's not like the cold. You get sniffles, you get a fever.
It's not the flu. It's not the flu.
No,
it's not the flu.
It's crazy. Avoid it like the plague. Just avoid it.
So we talk about, how upsetting all this is, and everybody feels, and we talk about it and we've talked about it a lot because everybody feels the same way. But I will say, I found something this week that I was pleasantly surprised by, but shocked to find.
Oh, good.
And it is a website dedicated solely to positive news about the coronavirus.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
And the title of the website is, and I'll post it, but the title of the website makes me happy. And it says, justgivemepositivenews.com. And they do other news within this website, but they have a special feed for just positive news about the coronavirus. And I'll give you some examples. They talk about how they talk about the vaccine, and how several people are competing for the vaccine, and they report on the stages of the vaccine. So just last week, they were talking about one out of England is behaving as desired in their clinical trials. So we're closer to that. But of course, there's one in the United States. Exactly, right? But there's also one in the United States that is going into one of their biggest trials here in the next couple months. So everybody is trying to get this done by the first of the year. Also,
that's great.
There is talking about how, for instance, in England, they're using the 1 hour rapid testing to get Heathrow back up in full capacity. There's news from Singapore. So this is out of Britain. So let me say this, and then this is sad too, because used to, I would say the United States would be the best at doing these things, and we would be But I
Right.
now
The
don't
leader of
have
the world.
confidence. I don't have
No.
confidence that the United States can handle any of this very well. So this is a website out of England. And
Okay.
so that is the reason
Oh.
why they're giving international news and positive news about these
I
things.
love that.
There's nothing in the United States that would cover the entire world like this in a positive way. So
Melissa, we put our nurses and doctors in plastic bags and asked them to reuse masks
Yes.
when this thing jumped off. So,
that's right.
you know, we've got some work to do here.
Exactly.
We need to fix ourselves
Yes.
pretty quickly here.
We need to
Because,
fix
you
our
know,
country.
exactly. Because
Stick together.
our standing, you know, has taken a hit. You know, we are not the standard bearer anymore, and we need to be. We should be.
We should be, absolutely.
You know, with all the talent in this country, you can't tell me that we shouldn't have had this thing wrapped up.
Where do they send people for their education?
Right.
Here.
Well, no, I don't.
Absolutely.
Not sure anymore. If I was another country, I would take advantage of that and take advantage of our fall and because it's a shame to say that the only time in my life that I ever thought, should I live in another country? Was here in the past few years and especially this year.
Right.
And I've never thought that in my life. And so that's to me, again, a sign. It's just to Mark's point that our country has failed and we need to figure that out.
Right.
Really do.
And we have failed each other as people.
We failed each other.
Yes. And we need to definitely show more love because there is so much love, hate, you know, or hate out there.
Love cures everything.
If you get afraid to post stuff because you just never know when you're going to get, you know, beaten up. But I think people now are looking more for those good news. So Melissa, thank you for finding that. We'll take it wherever we can get it.
I love that. So yes, I'll post that. But
we'll post that. And Mark, thank you for that Twitter feed because I'm a big believer in balance. You have to know what's going on. You have to be educated and smart, but don't you know, ponder on that and just dwell in that. But know it's there. Be smart, make wise decisions, and then go find positive. Like we're talking about our dogs and our baking, whatever makes you happy. You've got to have that wheel of balance, life, spirituality.
And let me add to that, when you are aware of what's going on, be sure and use a source that has references.
Yes.
Do not educate yourself on Facebook. Don't educate. I mean, we love Facebook, obviously, here we are, but I'm saying that news sources that give references, but it's your responsibility. A headline is not enough, and most people only read the headlines.
Right.
True. And that social, what's that movie, The Social Dilemma?
The Social Dilemma, yeah,
good one to watch because don't just click on the videos that are suggested for you because it's going to feed into what you're already thinking. Go personally over to CNN, to Fox, to CBS, NBC. Get a wide perspective. That's being smart.
I mean, my news sources sometimes are not in this country because, again, I think everybody is so trying to gear themselves and brand themselves in a certain way that they're not being fair. And I think that some international media actually does a better job.
I'll put some of those links in there, Melissa. We'd love to see them because I know in America, we know all the ones that are normal to us. If you've got some ones that are different that we may not know about, put them in the comments. We'd love to see those. So we're going to help our viewers broaden their horizons. And always giving them hope. So with that, let's give one verse of hope right now, and I'm going to start, and then we're going to get to our not so smart. I already did mine and started this whole conversation here, but the one piece of advice I'm going to give to everybody right now to give you hope is today, right now, right when you're done watching this, I want you to pick up the phone and call someone because we have to be our brother's keeper right now more than ever. And we may think that, they're on Zoom with everybody and everybody's taking care of them. They may not be. Just call somebody that's on your heart right now just to say hi and just show love because we have to do more than always be working or worried about work or worried about bills or worried about what I need to be doing or should be doing because there's so much responsibility that's wrapped around this. I need to eat right, do this, do that. Take a pause and call somebody that you just want to check on and have, just reconnect with. And I think the friendship bond is so important right now. So that's my advice for today.
I love it. I love it. And I will say, take the opportunity when you have a chance to have a socially distant and responsible conversation with a total stranger. Wear your mask. But I went out of my way this morning while we were voting to say hello to a police officer who was standing by. Nice. And I just wanted to say hello and ask him if he was having a good day, wished him well, and his face lit up. He said, "Hey, I'm doing all right," and he put a smile on his face.
Oh,
So it's amazing, how similar we are, right? And we're more alike than we are different.
amen.
And if we just take the time to realize that and to say hello, right, you'll put a smile on somebody's face.
And we forget to do that because we're wearing masks, but we can see the smiles through the masks.
What movie? Gosh. Well, of course I can't. Why am I starting to try to do something with a proper name because I can't think of names of movies?
All right, I'll look it up. What is it? No.
The movie where the mother used the eggs as the example, we're all the same on the inside. There was a biopic, I call it biopic, of a musician, a Black musician she was given a racial lesson. So she had the unbleached country egg and she had the bleached white egg. And she smashed them both on the floor and they both had the yolk. And she said, there's your lesson in racism. And so to me, it's the same with everything, is that we are all the same on the inside and we have to remember that. So my piece of advice, I think, is you mentioned array of responsibility. So I take my job as mother I take that very seriously. And I have a 6-year-old that I'm guiding through this virus. And my job is to make sure the 6-year-old is not panicked about the world and his own body during a coronavirus that has lasted far longer than anyone anticipated. So me teaching him about this is lasting far longer and answering the questions of why can't I do this and why can't I see this and why can't you be somewhere where it's the mom, why can't you take me to this? And I have to explain, I have to protect myself. And so I think that if you think about the advice you're giving someone, if you are the leader in your family, and give that to yourself. So if I tell my son it's going to be okay, there's nothing to be afraid of, then I have to take that same advice. If I tell my son, just remember when you get to tell your children about this someday, it'll be really interesting to show them the pictures with you and your masks. I have to remember I'm going to be here to show my grandchildren a picture of me in a mask with my son.
Yeah.
So give yourself the same hope that you're giving young children. Don't just tell them something to make them not worry. You also have to not worry yourself.
You have to believe it.
Yep, because they do what you do, not what you say anyway.
Exactly. So that's exactly right.
Absolutely. Well, Melissa, since you're talking, let's go ahead and do You're Not So Smart, because we have to laugh in this world. This is our last section.
Okay.
Even though mine wasn't funny this time, but that's okay.
No, it was not so smart. And this is not so smart. This is not so smart. I do have a question for you guys.
He's already laughing. Don't even know what it is.
So when you were doing laundry, how often do you wash the sheets on your bed when you do?
Every week.
Every week?
Well, I have dogs that love to cuddle with me, so sometimes twice.
Mark? Yeah,
every week. But the dogs are not allowed in the bed. They want to get in the bed.
Mark, don't buy presents. So you don't let your dogs in the bed?
They go in Malcolm's room and get in the bed. He lets them do that nonsense. We don't play that game.
Yeah.
I love Malcolm.
Yeah, so I'm about the same way. I'm the same way. It's about once a week. I think they're nice and ripe and ready to come off the bed.
Nice and ripe.
Ripe.
Well, there's a new study from Hammond's Furniture out of England asking people the same question. How often do you wash your bed sheets? And a third of the people, 1/3 of us, 1/3.
Don't put me in that category.
Only wash our bed sheets once a year.
No. Mark.
Not so smart.
Anyway, think about the bed
Lord.
and the
A
mites.
year. All the things you do in there.
That is gnarly.
Oh, that's gross. All right, so we didn't laugh.
And I'd leave you with that.
I never know what it's not. Mine was serious. Yours was gross. Mark, you have a funny one?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I'm gonna try to put a little smiles on your faces and not gross you out.
Oh my gosh, that was a great one though, Melissa.
I just canceled my lunch plans. All righty then, we're gonna go to Oxford, Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. I don't even know if
We've lost Mark.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going.
But
police in Alabama were left shaking their heads. They were in a high-speed pursuit.
Again?
Yeah, that's my beautiful.
Smokey and the Bandit. Yes.
Put the evidence in the car.
When I get home, I'm going to punch your mama right in the mouth. Funny in the 70s, not funny today.
Before my time.
Gotta get you locked up these days.
Right, I caught that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so a high-speed pursuit Well, of course, it never ends well for the criminal. And they finally caught up with the stolen car suspect, and he was wearing a sweatshirt that said, "Dumbass."
Jeez.
Oh,
In
that's
bold letters, right across the "Dumbass."
he was
And here's the
wearing it
picture
the
to
same
prove
day.
it. Yeah.
God.
Yep.
You know,
Read that.
you always get
Not so
told.
smart.
You always get told that you need to do a vision board. You know, write down what you
I do
see.
that, yes.
Yes,
Who am
and that's
I?
proof that it
Who
happened.
am I?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Perfect.
his brand.
Oh, my
Just in case you
goodness.
didn't know, just in case you had any question.
Yeah. And that
That's
really can't help you in
hilarious.
the slammer. Like
No.
when you go in the
That'll be
slam,
his mugshot.
like, what are you in for? Oh, for
Yeah, just
being one of these.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's hysterical.
This guy right here.
I'm all in.
Thank
you.
Give me your
Feeling.
cookies.
And I have a feeling that Mr. Dumbass isn't wearing a mask. So I'm just...
Why would he? Why would he?
There she went there.
He's out there
She went
YOLO.
there.
Sorry. I just wanted to say dumbass.
Again and again and again.
Oh my gosh, the
I wonder if he
Oxford,
watches.
Alabama.
I wonder if he watches Schitt's Creek.
Oh,
Gosh. All right. Well,
no.
on that note, I think we've gone from fuzzy puppies to coronavirus and not so smart, and then we end with being grossed out and having a good laugh. So
And somebody's boyfriend in jail is named Dumbass. So there you go.
perfect. Perfect. So we hope you come back for the next show. Who knows what we'll be talking about and what we'll do and what crazy antics we'll have. But please comment. Let us know if you like the show, what you like. Let us know if you've lost someone. Give us names to put with those faces.
Yeah.
Ask us questions. And we have a surprise for you coming up in December. We're not going to tell you yet, but something for our faithful viewers and people that want to come into our community, because we're going to open up the doors for you. But more on that next time. So Melissa, Mark, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. This is our joy for the week that we really love to do, to come here with you guys. So thank y'all. We will see you next week on Smart Talk. Hey, Melissa, I did it right. You know,
I'm so
first time.
Yes.
Have a great one. Bye.